These speakers are just insane. The sound quality is unbelievable, and I would go as far as saying they are possibly some of the best value speakers that I've tested on this channel so far. But they certainly aren't perfect. These are the Edifier G5000 speakers, and they are certainly designed with a gaming aesthetic in mind, with the 3mm aluminium plating and featuring full RGB lighting and effects. These will either stand out like a sore thumb or slot in like the final jigsaw piece in your setup. But either way, they are so striking and industrial that they are going to draw attention wherever you put them. Underneath the metal plating is an 11-board design that is supposedly handmade by expert carpenters, and this houses the 12-watt tweeter and 32-watt mid-bass driver, which delivers the high-res audio. And they feature a ton of connectivity with Bluetooth, aux, USB, optical and coaxial, along with Bluetooth 5 for wireless use. So all in all, on paper, these are feature-rich and connectivity-rich, but the real question is, what do they sound like? My first ever experience with these was when I opened them as part of my monthly unboxing haul episodes. Now, my initial impressions were extremely favourable. This is the G5000 gaming speakers. RGB dynamic backlighting. This seems like a really hefty piece of kit. Let's have a look. These look intense, and that's all I'm gonna say. On the back, we've got, it looks like we've got USB audio streaming, we've got Bluetooth, we've got auxiliary, optical audio, coaxial, oh, Jesus. Oh. These are very hefty, indeed. Okay, so it looks like it comes with all the cables that you're going to need to get these going. Oh, I like the way these are wrapped-ish. I mean, plastic is a bit much. You should just have plastic around the box and then that's all you need. Not everything individual in plastic. But this kind of fabric. Oh, way up. Look at that. That is industrial. That just looks the bloody hell. It is. It's 3mm aluminium. I thought that... I mean, that is... These are beautiful. These are absolutely beautiful. Oh my God. Oh, I quite like the controls on the top. It's a bit more retro aesthetic. A bit clicky. That's nice. Okay, let's just get these plugged in. I'm all in. I'm all in for these.
USB input.
Bit Chinese there. How do I change input?
Bluetooth input.
Okay. Wow! These things look great! Wow! Look at that! Okay, we've got different modes. I put it in music mode. Let's have a listen to some music. This is going to blow my face off, I think, because these are massive. Oh, look, the side is lit up as well with like the word gaming. Look at this! That's enough for now because I think I want to do a full review of these. There's probably so much more to test out. There's a couple of things I'm a bit concerned with at the moment, but I think after further testing, who knows, those might go away. But what I will say straight away is the build quality is phenomenal. These are solid. Absolutely solid aluminium casing. The RGB lighting is incredible and the sound is phenomenal, and it seemed like it held really good clarity right the way up there. So I'm really excited to test these out a little bit further. Let's put them away and I'll come back to those another day. Now that we're a few months later, has my opinion changed? Well, in some ways, no, and in others, yes. Now, firstly, on the sound, I think these are phenomenal, and they really, really adapt quite fantastically to any sound that you throw at them. The sound is extremely rich and full, which is exactly how I like it.
Enemy lock on.
Now, I think that some speakers go a little bit far with the clarity and end up losing a bit of soul, but these things hit the spot for me, and they aren't just good at gaming either. I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to music and films through them. With that punchy, warm sound, what more can I say? They've been absolutely pleasurable to listen to. I also think it's good that they've added an analog mode changer as well, so that you can change the equalization of the audio to specific uses using the buttons on the very top, but I'll come back to that shortly. Now, there are a few considerations to make in the sound department, namely, although the bass is very, very good, you aren't going to get that seat rumbling bass experience because they don't have an individual floor unit. Not massively important, but still. Also, they are just stereo speakers, which means you aren't going to get a true surround sound experience, which I know some people will specifically look for in a gaming audio setup. So if those two things haven't turned you away, and if you're looking for the biggest sound impact in the neatest package, then this stereo pair of speakers is potentially unmatched for versatility. And the style. The style is unapologetically aggressive, and I love them for it. They're super solid, heavy, and they make quite an imposing presence with the RGB lighting. And naturally, they've dropped into my gaming setup perfectly. But there are a few things that have made me pull my opinion in just a little bit. Firstly, there's a really thick Chinese accent on the announcement of the input and mode changes.
Optical input, coaxial input, USB input, line input.
While I wouldn't usually bat an eyelid at the accent of the announcer, it's so thick that sometimes it's barely understandable. In truth, I'm not even sure the announcer is needed, especially with the fact that there's an LED indicator on the top showing what mode the speaker is set up in. With this accent, it's a bit reminiscent of some of the really cheap Chinese tech that appears in some of the unboxing hauls. It would be like me making a speaker for the Chinese audience, but instead of putting a neutral British accent, I used the thickest Scottish accent that I could possibly find.
You've selected gaming mode and you're doing it through the auxiliary input. Dirty boy.
As for the design, as I mentioned already, it's imposing and very gamified, which I love, but I'm not particularly keen on the fact that it says gaming on the side. I probably sound like I'm being a bit nitpicky here, and I am for sure, but it's like buying a car that has the word transport written in bright neon letters on the side of it. It just feels a little bit unnecessary. My point is that if you have to write what it's for on the side of the product, then clearly the rest of the product isn't doing a good enough job to tell the user what it is or what it's supposed to do, which is weird because in this particular case, they really are. I mean, nothing says gaming more than the imposing angular aluminium shell and the RGB lighting. It just feels to me like the word gaming maybe takes it a little bit too far. In my opinion, although these two things might seem quite insignificant, I do think that they cheapen the experience a little. And that is a crying shame because using the word cheap just doesn't do these speakers the justice they deserve. And as I said at the start, these things have an unbelievable sound that resonates with my audible preference. Warm, rich, and bloody brilliant. Not only this, they are phenomenal value. A pair of these sets you back only 350 quid, and I'll drop a link below so you can check them out for yourselves. But for the right setup, if you're looking for some stereo speakers with RGB lighting to match your existing setup, then I really don't think there's a better option. And in my opinion, I actually think these could be the best gaming speakers available at the time of this review. And I guess some of my favourite all-round speakers that I've tested so far. And although they're very gamified, the sound is that good, I would be very tempted to use these in a number of settings around the house just to listen to music on. I think if they didn't have the thick accented announcer and the giant gaming on the side wasn't there, and perhaps if they included some form of smart control for RGB lighting, potentially connecting up to something like Razer Chroma so you could sync it with the game that you're playing and it could change colours, then these would be the almost perfect speakers for a gaming setup. But as it stands, they're still probably some of the best speakers I've tried, full stop, and certainly the best speakers that I've tried from Edifier. They're bloody good. And that concludes today's episode. Guys, if you have found this episode helpful at all, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And if you're new to STU'S Reviews, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see more episodes. And I'll see you back for another episode of STU'S Reviews soon.